Hi Taurus, welcome to your October Tarot Horoscope. After doing this for a year, I finally figured out that I can just shuffle the cards ahead of time and pull a card instead of sitting here on the video for minutes at a time trying to pull a card. So I've got a card ready for you, haven't seen it yet, and that'll be for October. The first 2/3 of October is Libra season, and then we'll be rolling into Scorpio season. So your card, Taurus, for the month is the High Priest. So this is the way that he looks, this is the way he looks. So he's sitting here as this man. He's got this kind of halo, light aura around him, has this big kind of statue or wand or staff, and then there's these little figures down there that are kind of looking up to him, kind of in supplication there, and that's what the card looks like. I think Pisces had this card this month, so High Priest themes are abounding. So here we go, the High Priest. Personal quintessence. All high priests of the most diverse religious traditions have one thing in common: the task of interpreting the mysteries of life and organizing the appropriate rites. It is your task today to recognize this power within yourself. The key is right in front of your very own eyes. The staff with the triple cross points to the Christian Pope. In a much broader sense, it is a symbol of a bond, of the interconnections between heaven and earth. The staff is like an antenna, which enables you to receive messages from near and far and transmit others. The challenge is addressed to the whole person. The difference in scale of the various figures is a metaphor for personal strengths and weaknesses. Both should be utilized, stretching out beyond existing boundaries. The circles and rays around the figures' heads symbolize a higher consciousness which transcends individual personality. For religious-minded people, the card refers to finding one's way to God and making peace with Him. In a broader sense, this card is all about teaching and learning, initiation and understanding. In order to know others, we have to know ourselves and thus become able to appreciate the purpose of our own existence. What is so special about Dali's interpretation is that it focuses on the mutual initiation and communication processes between people, or between different aspects of the personality. Aside from the three figures, there is no church and no hint of religious dogma to be seen. But the halo around the head expands the dimensions at issue. Dali shows that the sacred manifests itself in our daily human interactions. Each person can be a spiritual teacher for every other person. Practical advice: initiate others into your mysteries. Be open to the needs of others. Okay, so this card feels really great for Libra season because it's all about communication with others. And Libra season, one of its main things is that it's about partnership. It's an air sign already, so it is about communication, but it's about how we as individuals can learn more about ourselves in reflection through the mirror of being close in union with another being. So partnership can be romantic relationships, sexual relationships, business relationships, any sort of relationship where two equals come together as sovereign agents, choosing to be in union together for a particular goal that should benefit both of them. So this and all of that is going to be possible through communication. So and Libra season is all about, it's a cardinal sign as well, so it's about initiating conversations, starting new conversations. So this particular season is, in October, in Libra season, is really inviting us to initiate these conversations and to really recognize that it's not just like conversation and communication and that kind of connection has a very elevated spiritual component as well. Like there's an amplification that happens between individuals that are really sharing, honestly, expressing their needs and desires, receiving the needs and desires of others, working in negotiation. Libra's all about negotiation between two parties in order for everybody to get their needs met. So that in and of itself, when it happens in a very cohesive, healthy way, has a very healthy spiritual component to it that is kind of reflected in this High Priest, where it's not just about talking, it's not just about that kind of interplay. It really has this ripple effect, this expansion that healthy communication between others ripples out and out and out and out. And so being able to express yourself, being able to receive, being received, all of that is this feedback that the more you do it and the better you do it and the healthier you do it, then that ripple out happens for more and more people. So this Libra season is really encouraging you to take some reflection, what it is that you need to share, what it is that, not just reflection, yes, but specifically this Libra season is right in the middle of retrograde season. So retrogrades already have this sort of inward look where it's more about inward reassessing, reflecting, rethinking in order to then be better prepared to go back forward in a more kind of direct direction. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. So and it can be really difficult in retrograde season to feel like initiating things or to start things out. It feels kind of hard to be in direct motion. So if Libra season is wanting to initiate communication, but retrograde season is like, don't do it yet. Initiation also involves the thinking and the reflecting. So you can initiate the conversation with yourself first. Initiate the conversation of reflecting what your needs and desires are, and then that better has you able to communicate that to others. So if in a retrograde season you initiate that conversation with yourself, as planets go direct, as it's a little bit more easy to move forward, then we can engage in those healthy Libra partnership discussions from that foundation of we've already done our homework. So focusing this beginning of the month on doing the homework so that later then once things are kind of a little bit more fluid, we can then express and be in relationship with others in a healthier way is the invitation for the Libra chunk of this month. Then when we get into Scorpio season towards the end of the month, Scorpio season is it's a time of renewal. It's both a focus on the taboo and what we don't want to talk about. So if we've been initiating conversations about our well-being and our desires towards the end of the month, it might kind of take I don't want to say a heavier turn, but a more serious turn where we can really get into the nitty-gritty of our deep the fears and desires we've been afraid to share, the things that we've repressed, the things we're too scared to want, or the things we're too afraid to deal with, or that we've held back, or haven't had the time or the space or the safety. If in Libra season we've found the partners that are safe for us, or we've engaged in that communication and doing the homework for ourselves where we understand our needs, we then are better supported in ourselves and our community to go into the harder topics, into the taboo that Scorpio season can bring up, because it can really bring up a lot of stuff. And if you're not prepared, if you haven't done the homework, it may be really overwhelming. Scorpio season doesn't have to be overwhelming. It may be challenging, but only if you're in resistance. So part of Scorpio season, again, is this renewal. It's this loss, this decay, or this death that is part of renewing, making space, and bringing nutrition back into the soil of our lives in order to have that healthy nutrition for the next growth phase. We can't be in constant growth all the time. So it's allowing and inviting this fallow season, or this letting things die off, so that there's space, there's room, there's spaciousness for the exploration of what your needs may be, or for the tending to what may come up when examining some of those more scorpionic repressed sort of things. It's very hard to both be healing and cleaning and reflecting while also growing and building and doing new things. That's why following things in the season and cyclical pattern doesn't demand you do everything at once. It doesn't demand that you grow and think and learn and train and rest and all at the same time, the way culturally, certainly in a capitalist production-based society, you're supposed to be able to do it all at the same time. You're supposed to be able to maintain your relationships, have a fitness life, have a spiritual life, have a work life, do all your hobbies, have good friendships, see your family, all the same time every day, and do it all. That's so burnout recipe. So instead of being able to follow, there's seasons where you're allowed to let things go. You're allowed to let things drop. You're allowed to let things rest in order to have the energy to focus on those things again later, or on different things that maybe you haven't been able to focus on all the time. So this encouragement of allowing seasons of rest and death, and allowing seasons of growth and kind of that projecting outward will make the whole year, the whole unit, you as a being, be in that sustainable, healthy patterning instead of trajectory and then burnout and destruction. So that's sort of what I'm seeing for this particular month for you, Taurus. I think that really focusing on how those seasons of you seeing your needs, communicating them in relationship, reaching into those maybe unmet or repressed things, and also allowing for periods of rest and loss and putting things down and not having to do things all the time. If you really focus on the body, and how particularly the archetype of Taurus is often very invested in the body, in the pleasure, in the sense realms of how does it feel in the body. So while you are doing these examinations, you're trying to think about what your needs are, really use the somatic container of your body. How does it feel in my body when I talk to this person? Am I really stressed out or am I really excited? How does it feel in my body when I commit to this project or think about maybe taking a step back? Do I feel heavy and exhausted at the idea of another season of committing myself to something, or do I feel really energized and excited of like lots of ideas, and does that make the body feel light or kind of powerful? Like using the body as a somatic tool instead of just the mind is going to be really, really helpful for you to guide where your desires and fears are. Be mindful though that Scorpio season can, as it's looking at repression and things that may kind of come from that traumatic repressed place, then the body and the nervous system can become really activated. So it can be then, if you're in that fight or flight response, listening to the body may always put you into the no, I need to run, or I need to fight. So using your body as an intuitive tool is best when you're in that rested and ordered and not fight or flight mode. So if you listen to the fight or flight as that as always the sign, you might end up kind of going more into the fear-based route. But if you listen to your body and you find it is in a fight or flight mode, then that is the time to tend to it, to care for it, to rest. Maybe that really doesn't mean that you need to take a moment and put some things aside because you've brought up a lot of things that have kind of disordered your nervous system or your body, whatever it is. Listen to the wisdom of your body. If it's telling you to rest or heal or care for yourself, excellent. If it has a little bit more confidence or is feeling really leveled, and then you can listen to it in a growth-oriented way. Whatever it is, trust the wisdom of your body, and also you can tap into your community as well as your partners and people that you trust to have that outside influence as well of thinking, if this is how my body feels, I don't want to gaslight it, but also I don't just want to make a choice based on a nervous system response that may be more heightened in Scorpio season. So be aware of that. Love your body. Listen to your body. Let it help you guide your choices in this particular season, and then be a part of communicating and receiving other people's communications about what you need and what they need too. So, like I said, Libra season, beginning of October, there's a lot of retrogrades in this particular season. So I would highly recommend you check out the Libra season workshop that's up on my YouTube channel to give you a little bit more insight, direct information on those retrogrades. This season, I'm doing something a little bit different with the workshop. It is not a pay-what-you-can workshop to me. It is a donation-based workshop to the Native Women's Association of Canada. So as part of this business and as part of me operating as a spiritual practitioner on Canadian soil, on stolen Native land, part of Libra season about justice and balance, it's very important to me that that is connected with tangible action. September 30th here in Canada is the Truth and Reconciliation Day. So because of that September 30th in the middle of Libra season, this workshop, all donations are going to the Native Women's Association of Canada so they can put it to good use. So do take the workshop. It'll be super helpful for you. And then generous donations are going to be super helpful for that association and for that ongoing work here in Canada. So thank you so much for joining me on that particular mission, and best of luck. I'm here for supporting you on your October adventure. Best of luck, Taurus, and I'll see you next month.